mean, that's wrong, man. I mean, not just like torturing someone. Yeah, I mean, going in there and hurting someone is just not fair on Davis.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis.
I got Tank by murder. Size don't matter? Hell.
And people, it's funny how now they're saying size matters, Jake is big. And for so long, it's been Tank would kill Jake Paul. Now you get to see if that's real.
Boxing experts overwhelmingly predict that Gervonta "Tank" Davis will defeat Jake Paul. Many believe Tank's elite skill and experience give him a decisive edge, expecting him to dominate. Paulie Malignaggi stressed that no matter Jake's size advantage, Davis's resume and talent stand far above. He reminded fans that Davis's career is already legendary, built on years of dominance, highlight reel knockouts, and a lasting impact on the sport.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. Yeah. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. You know, Davis, you know, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? You know, there's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, you know, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside as boxers, me and, you know, Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience. So we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you, you're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public, so there is a lot to lose though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing. And I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, mind you?
Nakisa Bidarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions and a key figure in Jake Paul's career, made strong statements before the Davis-Paul clash. Nakisa argued that Jake's size advantage means little when facing a fighter like Davis. He revealed this matchup wasn't impulsive. It had been in the works since Jake's planned fight with Canelo Alvarez was scrapped. Nakisa's comments shed light on how both camps carefully negotiate marquee fights, always balancing spectacle with legacy.
I got to ask you about the elephant in the room. What weight, Nakisa? What weight could they possibly be fighting at? You know, the news broke, Jake and Tank are going to happen November 14th.
Whatever weight they want, man, they're talking about it, and whatever it is, there's going to be a definitive outcome. People can talk about pro, exhibition. We're going to make sure this is as real as it's real.
Why was it, just out of curiosity, why is it not a professional bout and why is it an exhibition? Because I'm sure Jake would have taken the professional bout.
Nothing's been communicated as yet in terms of what it is, right? Similar to, if you remember, with Paul Tyson, when we announced it, we didn't have the weight, we didn't have the rules, particularly in terms of the number of rounds, the minutes, the gloves. It's going to be the same thing here.
Gotcha. Can you just offer us any insight as to how these negotiations went? The reason I ask is because I remember back in March, I was at Tank's fight. And after his fight in his press conference, he was asked, next opponent. He said, well, my next opponent might have been in my locker room tonight. And people asked him, was it Jake? He made reference, he made allusion to. Has this been an ongoing thing? And has it ever, you know, been at a point where it wasn't going to happen and came back? Or was this always the plan?
Always been the plan for Jake to fight Tank once Canelo didn't happen. And to Tank's credit, he's a real bad dude. And he's been calling out Jake for 3 years. And people... It's funny how now they're saying size matters, Jake is big, when for so long it's been Tank would kill Jake Paul. Now you get to see if that's real. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Gotcha. Knockout?
One of them.
The elephant in the room. What do you know about how this came to be? And then if you can, do you have any idea on what the weight is going to be between Jake Paul and Tank Davis, which was just announced?
Well, considering that I'm one of the guys on the team
you know, we always like to allow everyone in front to be able to release the information as they please.
Veteran trainer Jeff Mayweather, however, has taken a different stance. He's siding with Jake Paul. Jeff argued that at this weight, Jake holds the natural advantage. Paul has fought most of his career at cruiserweight, bringing size, power, and reach into the ring. Davis, meanwhile, is moving up several divisions, raising questions about whether his frame can handle the leap. Jeff acknowledges Tank's elite.
You have weight classes for a reason. And I mean, even as good as Tank is.
It'd be similar to Logan and Floyd, right? If it's an exhibition.
No, that
well, I mean, the weight differences.
The weight difference is way more. Jake is over 200 pounds.
Logan was around 200 pounds.
Yeah, but
who wins the fight, man? We ain't talking. Who wins if they have it? Come on now, answer the question.
I mean, to be honest, I would think Jake know how to fight a little bit. I think he should win. You beating a man that's 135 pounds, he should be able to win.
Gervonta Davis himself fueled the hype when he posted the official promotional video on Instagram. Fans who expected a Lamont Roach rematch were stunned. Many believed Tank would focus on legacy by revisiting unfinished business. Instead, Davis leaned into the spectacle, embracing the global buzz of fighting Jake Paul. His post reminded the world that boxing is not only about legacy bouts, but also about entertainment, star power, and expanding.
They're trying to fight they were trying or still trying to find a common medium, which is 175, so the fight can officially be sanctioned as a real boxing match. But there's no boxing commission that will sanction it because the weight is just too far apart. And Jake Paul has proven to be a true boxer now, okay? So it's considered an exhibition, which what I'm being told is going to be 10 2-minute rounds. But they wanted Jake Paul to make 175 so this can be a real boxing match and count against their record and box rep. But the fans are demanding to see him fight Lamont Roach. As I told you guys, Tank told you that he wasn't fighting Lamont Roach in the rematch. He had other plans, which is Jake Paul. He told you that in the post-fight press conference after the Lamont Roach fight, right? So with that said, that fell through at the time, and he revisited and entertained the idea of fighting Lamont Roach in the rematch. But he never signed the contract. They were supposed to fight June 21st. He never signed the contract. Then they were supposed to fight August 16th. He never signed the contract. And then he had the arrest. He had to get bailed out, so on and so forth. With that said, now he's broke his silence. He resurfaced on social media because he went ghost on social media. And he put up this promo, and the fans are responding in a negative way. And he's responding in a negative way. He's responding right back with the same energy. And he's telling the fans, because the fans are saying, hey, the money that you reportedly making, which is being said that he's going to make $40 million for this fight, according to multiple sources and Eddie Hearn and a few other people, he's supposed to make guaranteed purse of $40 million.
Matchroom's Frank Smith later revealed that Davis had indeed been lined up for a Roach rematch. But when the Jake Paul opportunity appeared, plans shifted dramatically. Smith explained the financial upside and worldwide spotlight were simply too massive to pass up. The move reflects the reality of modern boxing, where fighters balance legacy with commercial opportunities. For Davis, choosing Paul wasn't just about business. It was about capturing worldwide attention that few traditional fights could match. Smith didn't outright.
And let's say you take money out of the equation, which is obviously the main factor here, but like he's in a division where he's got killers all in his division. You know, Shakur, Haney, who's 147. You know, you look at a T.O., for example, Keyshawn, and then you choose to fight someone like Paul. Surely that's a concern when you do look at it like that.
Yeah, but again, it's the well-being. If you can get a huge amount of money to fight someone who's never boxed really before, you're going to do it. You know, Floyd Mayweather boxed Logan Paul with a huge weight disparity.
He was done by then.
I know.
Done. Like, this is an active world champion.
But it's the well-being.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Now, when it comes down to it, it's just like Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. Two completely different sports. Was the biggest pay-per-view in recent times, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Maybe if ever.
Those are like different comparisons, though, if you think about it. Do you not like
Yeah, but the sport's in a wild place, isn't it? That's just, like, I'm just like the reality of where we are, you know. And I can't really say much when we're talking about Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think Tank should get stripped of his title?
Yeah, I think anyone who, just in general, doesn't defend their title to do something else should get stripped, because it shouldn't hold the belts up. You know, in any, like, I think that should be the reality in anything. You know, if you're not going to defend your belts, or you're not defending, sometimes there's the rules, obviously, if you fight for a belt at a higher weight, you can retain the belt until there. But if you're not, don't have intention of defending the belts, you shouldn't hold the belts up. People should get the opportunity to fight for them.
What happened with the failed negotiations between AJ and Jake Paul?
I think anything's still possible. That was always discussed for next year. You know, this fight's November, early part of next year. AJ's in a great place, because if anyone in the heavyweight division wants to make huge money, Anthony Joshua is the man they have to get in there with, you know.
One analyst addressed the wave of criticism surrounding Davis's choice. He argued fans too often look for reasons to troll fighters instead of appreciating their careers. Tank has spent years building his reputation through discipline, talent, and explosive knockouts. If he now chooses to secure a mega payday through a spectacle fight, the analyst said, there's nothing wrong with that. Many lifelong boxers rarely receive the credit or financial reward they deserve compared to crossover stars like Jake Paul. By taking this fight,
casual, but what about the hardcore boxing fans? Won't we stand up and put some value on fighters that dare to be great, that respect the sport of boxing and not just the business of boxing? Ryan Garcia never been a champion. Shout out to Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia never been a champion. Making more money than these guys, Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, right? Ryan Garcia, the less accomplished fighter, was just main eventing in their last fight. Devin Haney was the co-main event, and Teofimo Lopez was playing third fiddle. Where was the hardcore boxing fans' dollars? Where was the hardcore boxing fans' appreciation? Don't blame that on Turkey. Don't blame that on the promoters. The promoters are businessmen, and it seems like the promoters already know that the hardcore boxing fans don't flip the bill. Don't get mad at Gervonta Tank Davis for chasing the money, because he understood that in the sport of boxing, it's not enough to just go for the gusto. It's not lucrative to be the best, to fight the best and be the best. And at the end of the day, they prize fighters as well. So the hardcore boxing fans is at fault. The business handlers, you know, in business, you go for your target audience. So they're going for the casuals. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis make the most money and do the most and do the less.
Some fans accuse Davis of avoiding high-level opponents like Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez in favor of chasing a money fight with Jake Paul. Social media debates have been heated, but many analysts say those criticisms are unfair. Davis has consistently dominated his divisions, defeating champions and maintaining an undefeated record. Suggesting he is ducking opponents undermines his proven legacy. Instead, his decision to face Jake Paul shows the
Go ever fight no Shakur Stevenson, no Keyshawn Davis, no Teofimo Lopez, no none of them dudes. You know what I'm talking about? We gotta think and look at Tank Davis's whole career. He done made some bread, but at the end of the day, all that bread that he made, when it's all said and done, he ain't gonna get no respect from his peers, because we gonna look down his resume and we gonna be like, he was trash, he was some trash, he was some trash, he was all right, but he was never like that. He was okay. He was some trash, he was some trash, he ain't did nothing. Hey, that's just what it's gonna be at the end of the day. Get mad, a moment of silence, all of the Gervonta Tank Davis meat bushes.
The lowest he's been, I went through all the fights. For his first two pro fights, he was 175. Now, this is all the way back in 2020 against Nate Robinson. Since then, the lowest he's been, as you said, was like the 185 around the Nate Diaz fight, and also for Tommy Fury. I wonder if Jake can get down to that weight anymore. But regardless of Jake's weight, I can't fathom how Tank Davis would be anywhere in the realm of what he would be. Like, it just, he won't even be in earshot of what Jake Paul is going to be.
And for people like you just mentioned, Nate Robinson, if you're thinking Nate Robinson, oh, he might be around Tank Davis's size. Nah, he was an NBA player. He's 4 inches taller than Tank Davis.
Yeah.
He is not that small. He is around Ryan Garcia's height.
The visual on this is going to be absolutely comical.
Comical, dude. And then on top of all this, Lamont Roach Jr. also jumping on Twitter and saying, told y'all, LOL, duck, duck, duck. That is in reference. This is Gervonta Davis's last opponent in a fight that ended in a draw that many people found to be very controversial. Laurent